You have to be a little conscious.
You have to be. But I'm like, yeah. So coffee will come in between. Hey, what's up? I'm Salman Mushir, and I have with me Avinash here. So Avinash is from Bangalore. He's been in Australia for a couple of years, and we actually connected through LinkedIn very recently. And this is the first person I'm meeting in person, who I communicated on LinkedIn first. Why we're doing this video is because he's got this perspective about traveling and working abroad, which I think is important, which is that it's not all that green on the other side. Anyway, first of all, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Salman, good, doing good.
So when did you come to Bangalore?
I came like about 10 days back. Yeah, I just arrived from Adelaide. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do in Australia?
So I'm working in finance, and I work for like a small education services company, and we do more like conducting exams, which is sort of like IELTS, but it's more on the healthcare sector.
Tell me about your background and how did you get to Australia?
Yeah, basically I went to study. I did my master's in accounting, which is like pretty much a standard sort of a format which the consultancy tells you like, oh, you have done finance in this, you can go to your master's in accounting. So I did that for 2 years.
Where? There in Australia?
Yeah, in Australia. Yeah. I was in Adelaide. It's called the University of South Australia. And yeah, man. After that, I sort of finished 2 years and then did a couple of internships and everything, and then I started on this role. Okay. But yeah, although it's a part-time sort of a job that I do, but still it's good. Yeah.
When did you finish your masters in Australia?
Oh, in 2018. In the end of 2018, December 2018. Yeah.
For in 2019, you've been working part time.
Yeah, for about a year now. It's almost been a year, and over there there are like full-time, part-time kind of work that you can do. You get a number of hours that you can do, okay. And yeah, it's flexible to like move around. You can do 2 or 3 jobs if you want.
So in terms of opportunity, it is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. See, there's always like, if you're interested in finance, you can do that for like 20 hours a week. If you're interested in maybe culinary or like working in a restaurant or working anywhere else, maybe even in the logistics industry or engineering, whatever it is, you can do 2 jobs, at a time.
Not that common here, actually. I wish we also had that practice of being able to do multiple things. Okay, now tell me your motivation to go into Australia. What was that? And what is your background? You were into banking, right?
Yeah. I was working in a bank actually.
So at what age did you go?
Oh yeah, that's also a very tricky part. When people decide to go. I went when I was 29 years old. That's about 2-3 years back. And I just decided because so when I was working in the bank, there was sort of a plateau that I just hit, and I was like,
in Bangalore, right?
Yeah, no, this was in Bombay, and it was a government bank. So you know how government bank is, you get to some level and then you're just pushing papers around. So then I was like, okay, I need to like get out.
The definition of a desk job.
Yeah, dude, you can't just move. You just have to sit there, and one place, one branch, 5 years, and I was bored. So I was like, yeah, I should like, head out and see what's there. So Australia, because some of my friends were already there 6 months before I left, and sort of the simple way of getting into a consultancy, asking them and applying, and then sort of getting to where I am. Yeah.
So you were in a pursuit for education, basically.
I wish I was not, but yeah.
So it was the motive was to move to a new country.
Yeah, definitely the motive was to move to a new country, and again, because it was easier to move in as a student, and then there was some. Again, it was 5 years since I worked, and I hadn't been studying, so I thought, okay, let's get back to some college life and let's see how it is.
So now your experience over the last few years, right? How has that been in terms of the country, in terms of your own standard of living and things like that?
See, definitely I've learned a lot on my own as well, and the country is like really good, and Australia has a lot of things to do apart from just studying, because people over there learn how to be self-dependent, because you cook on your own, you sort of travel on your own. There's a lot of exciting places to go to, the beaches and everything. So interesting, man, and that's what I did. Yeah.
What did you find wrong? Like, I got the sense as well, right?
I mean, it's tough. Like, it's nothing wrong, I would say, but again, people sometimes feel.
It's subjective and it's personal. It depends on from people to people and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've even heard from some of my friends that they like the kind of life they live in Bangalore. They have a 2 BHK or 3 BHK, and they have maids coming in doing all the work, and then they have a chill life. They have cooks, and you don't have to. You can just sail along. Of course, traffic is something that everyone is really bothered about. That's not there in case of Australia and all. Everything else, infrastructure, everything else is good, but there's a lot of things you got to do on your own, which some people always find that, what am I doing? Like, why am I spending so much time in doing so many things? And in Australia, also, if you're working part time and you can study, so it's like college is only 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Imagine just 3 days a week, only for like 4 hours each day. The rest of the time you're free, and then you can, get yourself a job, do something that can earn you some part-time, money as well, and you can get along.
So how about getting a job? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's the scene like?
Oh yeah. So now that is very, very, very tricky because there is a perception that in Australia now people can come and work, but there's a fine line. Like what I observe is that there's really a requirement for you to get a proper visa status before you actually can start full-time work. And I'm also sort of find myself in that situation where I'm on a work visa. I'm not on a permanent visa. So sometimes they look for that, and sometimes they specifically look for that because you're qualified and you have the experience and the job fits and everything. But sometimes you feel like I'm just getting left out just because I don't have the visa that's required. And again, these are kind of subtle things which you observe only when you're there. Probably it's not something you probably read about mostly in blogs or wherever it is.
Tell me about that specifically. Tell me about the two types of visas and what are the distinctions between them and pros and cons.
Yeah, actually interesting you ask that because many people want to go abroad. I'm sure even a few folks who
Go abroad.
get a job still, but it's man. Like if when people are going there, so if you go as a student, obviously it's a student visa, and there are a lot of restrictions and of work and things like that. But there is also now I'm on a work visa. That's a temporary postgraduate work visa, and there's also again the permanent residency, which can be of two types. It's the federal, which is like the whole of Australia, the level, and there's also state-sponsored visas. Okay. So if you get a permanent residency, you have at least 60% more better chance of getting a job.
If you have a permanent residency, and how does one acquire that?
Yeah, see again, the list and the intricacies of that is like really complex, but go to the government websites, which are very informative. That much I'll tell you about Australian government is that they put out everything there. And then you can read up, and a lot of criteria about age, education, work experience, and you tick all those boxes, and you can apply, and then you can get called by them.
So it's pretty systematic, and okay, it's systematic, and there's a way to. And what is the criteria? Like, just studying there is not enough.
See, what I've again seen on the ground level is that definitely there are people who study and convert that into a permanent residency, but there's a big combination of age, academics, work experience, and sometimes even if you earn up to like $60,000 a year, if somehow you get a job and you can earn that, even if you're working in a cafe or any other place, if you show your pay slips, like they give you a permanent residency, because I think they're more interested in attracting people who would come and earn and spend money in a particular lifestyle.
What has been your challenge?
Well, age has been definitely one of the challenges. So I can say the curve is like sort of up and down, because there's a peak. There's an age, particular like between 25 to 30, or 25 to 28, when you can really pick up your points for age, experience, and and everything has to be related. So, for example, for me, I did my engineering, and typically like do my MBA and then join a bank. So what Australian governments or what international, a lot of governments look at is that you should have been in one specific area, like done engineering, done your master's in engineering, maybe doing a specific, specialization, and then you're good. Because if you're interchanging, that kind of puts you off track. You lose your points on that. I've observed that.
So they want you to take a linear path in terms of your choice of career.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that? Because they want experts?
They feel that someone who's probably, this is probably a notion again, this might not be exactly, but
Avinash is not an expert, or he doesn't come from the from the immigration and anything, but it's his views.
yeah, so I think that what they want to see, that you're not someone who's just hopping around just to get an opportunity. You're someone who's actually passionate about this and you'll deliver. Just a relatable point is that when I was studying also, it's not like India, dude. It's the college system is completely different. They ask you to study at home, come to class, and ask your doubts. And whatever you have doubts or something, whatever you have and you want to discuss, that is what is discussed. The rest of it is up to you. Okay. So it's like they feel that, okay, if you haven't gone on a linear path, where you're going to find your self-study and be proactive, and these are kind of things, the positive things that I took from my college, from my learning, that yeah, you can do things on your own. Yes, you can sort of be proactive and do all those things. But I think they look for the linear path again is because they want you to be specific, targeted to one thing that you do.
Now, you are 31 right now, is it?
Yeah, I'm like 33.
Is that considered old?
Yeah, dude. So in Australia again, there's a bracket of 25 to 32, and I'm just crossing 32 now. But again, Canada could be a little different. Maybe Europe could be a little different. I'm even looking at other countries like Ireland and UK is a bit difficult now. Maybe even other countries around.
So what are the prospects for you? What are your plans?
I'm gonna be applying for my permanent residency. I'm just gonna give it a shot. If I get it, I get it. Because again, if I don't. Again, I'm not one of so many people go in with the expectation that I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do only this. But again, you need to have safety nets. So my safety net is Bangalore, man. Come back and do something on my own, maybe.
Bangalore is awesome. A lot going on here. Definitely a lot of opportunity and all that. Okay, so also you're also looking at other countries as well?
Yeah, definitely. I have my Australian visa till like next year. So in between, if I do get a chance, maybe I'll apply for Canada, or maybe I'll look at Denmark. Is a good country to be in now. But again, economy is weak everywhere. So the job market is a bit tight, except in India.
Economy is always weak.
When you're finding a job, it's always weak too. Yeah, that's true.
We are at Eat Fit, by the way. Eat Fit by Cure Fit.
One of the things I find interesting about your podcast is that early on, if people can know what they're doing, they can get on that linear path. You know what I mean? Like, if someone wants to do IT compliance, or someone just wants to do IT testing, or software development, or finance, or accounting, and if they're just specialized and they're looking at your podcast and saying, okay, these people are doing this, maybe I want to do that, instead of doing BCom and suddenly switching to IT, and then analytics jobs are cool, let me do a certification in that. They're not jumping around, because later on when you're 30 and you want to get out of the country and you're like, shit, why did I even study engineering when I was 18? Yeah.
Good point, and that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is because, see, there are so many interesting opportunities out there, and many of these opportunities are suited to different types of people, and it is only by having these discussions can we get that out, resonate, connect these skills with the right people and all that. Now, what advice would you have for people who are looking into Australia, and who should be the kind of people? Is there a type of person that it is suited for in terms of women living and what to expect, climate?
Oh yeah. So, see, if you go there, sometimes life generally is not like in India. People go to work and they might not socialize too much. You also said you had a friend who feels bored because they go out of the country and there's no this desi connection, there's no energy around. People just go to office at 9, finish at like 5, and then they get back home. But you need to be ready to be able to be on your own. That's the one thing about Australia, is like it makes you sort of self-dependent. You're not always looking, you're looking for things that you want over there. Yeah, friend circle, a lot of Indians going there now. I can see that the population is kind of increasing. There's a good community, definitely. So if you go in Australia, also try to get to the community. Try to get people who you know, and sort of that'll be a safety net, because even sometimes you feel lonely, you feel depressed, and sort of to get you out of that. And yeah, and definitely in terms of Australia right now, IT is going good, healthcare is going good. They're looking for more people in nursing, IT industry, and those are the booming industries right now, because finance, accounting, and all these different industries are sort of capping on taking immigrants. They're taking only citizens and permanent residency people and all that. So yeah, and also focus on, again, only learning. If you're going as a student, don't just go as to like, oh, I need to get a job and settle there. Be ready to, okay, if nothing is working out there, I'll start something on my own, or I've learned so and so here, I'll come and implement that in India. That's sort of open mind, I would say.
So the support system is there. Support system is there's a strong Indian community as well, and there's an inflow. Like there are people that are coming constantly.
Definitely. I can see it increasing year by year, and yeah, it's amazing. Like even our students, even our uni is kind of mostly 90% Asians too. It's like, yeah, Chinese and Indians mostly.
Okay. Just inserting a section about loans. A lot of people take loans and go to Australia, and Avinash is going to speak about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, interesting point that you say that, because I've seen on the ground itself that a lot of students who come there, they have a loan that probably they've taken in India, and then they end up doing jobs which are not really what you're designed to do, like any sort of job they pick up, and then they sort of go into the spiral about anxiety, depression, and everything. So what I would advise is, even if you have a loan, even if you're not getting a job, even after you finish your studies and everything, it's difficult. The job market is like tough. So have that confidence and have that energy, or have that enthusiasm to come back to India, and sort of revive yourself in terms of getting a job here maybe, and don't restrict yourself to just sticking to one place and then getting depressed and getting disappointed basically.
The thing is, it's a huge investment, right? Going there.
Definitely. I wouldn't say it's.
How much does it cost?
Well, there are different universities. All the universities are the same level. I would say for a medium, on a median range is about 30 lakhs would be the fees. But on the higher side, it could even go up to 60 lakhs, just the fees.
Is there an ROI on that? Like 30 lakhs is crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm telling you, even if you do a sort of a part-time work in university, you can get by with all your expenses. The people from India mostly even working in healthcare sector. They work as nurses, they work as nursing assistants, they work in a cafeteria. Definitely there's a return for, if you do a job, you're definitely going to get the money, and you're going to be able to pay all your fees back. But getting that job is what is important. Have your references before you go, or maybe someone there who can help you get a job. All these are stronger points. If you're just going there to explore the place and you're the first one to go, then maybe you need to really either work hard, or you need to be ready to sort of compromise on that.
So typically, how long does it take to cover that loan when you're working in Australia?
I would say a good full-time job would easily fetch you about 15 lakhs a year, easily. So 2 years, I think, or maybe max 3 years.
15 lakh rupees.
Yeah, 15. I'm just converting everything into rupees, because if you're earning about 15, 20 lakhs a year, you can always save up, little bit, and then within 3 years you just.
So maybe 3 years. It'll take you 3 years to get that. That's fine. It's Even over here, like our loans are pretty bad.
Yeah, and in between, if you even on your student life, if you have a job, you can keep, you don't have to spend. All your expenses are taken care of, your rent and your food and everything. If you have a 20 hours of job, but it's all about how you maintain your life. You can even spend it all if you want to. But again, it's about composure. It's about keeping.
Yeah, that's a good tip for people who, like, in terms of the mindset. There is a chance that even if you take a loan and all that, you need to be a little flexible in terms of what to expect.
Yeah, I'd say have a plan B at any point of time. Just don't be in another country, just getting disappointed and depressed, and just doing any sort of job that you don't like. Basically, if you're not enjoying the job, just come back. Take a breather, start over again. It's possible. Yeah.
Final question, like I have to ask because the bushfires, Australian bushfire, it happened recently, right? What was that like when you're living over there, and what's going on?
So yeah, I was there only for a little while it was on the rise. Sad to see that this Australians are very particular about a lot of things, but when it came to this again, it just went out of control. One of the days I just got out of my apartment and I was like, man, something's burning, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. It was so close that you could literally smell.
How far is it from your place?
Wow. So there's one of the islands, Kangaroo Islands, which is very close to Adelaide. That 80% of the place is gone. I was very very sad to see that, but it was 40 kilometers from where I live.
And you were sensing it. You could get the smell.
Yeah. I just walked out of my house and I was like, there's literally like smoke, that you can feel. You can feel the smell, like something's, when in the house when the gas is burning and when the gas is on and you're like something strange. It was like that all over the city. Yeah, but we were lucky. Adelaide didn't face too much of an issue.
Awesome. I mean, not awesome at all. In terms of people and all, I think it was a sad moment. I mean,
yeah, I think people are recovering from it. I've even talked to my friends even yesterday and everything. No one's affected. People are trying to get back. Everyone's a little bit, angry with the Prime Minister there because he hasn't taken much steps. But I'm sure that I'm sure as a community, Australians are very community based, and they'll get up. They'll get up soon.
Definitely, they will. Now, finally, like anything you have for the listeners, do you want them to reach out to you regarding anything, connect with you on LinkedIn?
Oh yeah. If anyone has any questions about Australia, I mean, I'm happy to share my experiences. LinkedIn, Avinash Madhavan, and I also have certain things that I want to do. How I'm looking at remote-based working in accounting. I'm trying to start that in India as well, cloud accounting. And if anyone's interested,
About your skills and all that, if you want opportunities.
yeah, sure. I don't specialize in any one field. I'm more of a finance and banking person, and I'm looking to also sort of expand the cloud accounting space in India. I'll be blogging about that mostly, and then feel free to reach out, man.
Awesome. Do connect with him and do connect with me too. Thank you so much, man. That was a good one.